Every single person in this world has a story to share. Your story is your superpower, and it's unique to you. In sharing it with the world, you can impact millions of people. If you keep it to yourself, you are doing the world a disservice. This is Dela. I'm the host of Dela's Voice, and I help you share your superpower with the world.
Hello and welcome to another Dela's Voice Sunday live talk show. It is an absolutely fabulous day today. We just pulled back the clock. I hope you got it set, and I hope for that very reason you're not missing this show. It is 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time here in Toronto, Ontario, in beautiful Canada. And today we are talking about what is strong with you. We'll be right back. Welcome back. So, what is unique and different with us? It's the same thing that can push us in life or can be a huge roadblock. It all depends on our perspective. Today, my guest is the amazing Jason Freeman. Jason is going to talk to us about his story of the way he realized in life that what in fact is unique with him is the reason why he is strong. And we were going to hear all about that, but a little bit about my guest, Jason. Jason was born with cerebral palsy, and for years, he let this condition determine his abilities in life until one day he decided to hear some different words, and he changed his life ever since then. Jason Freeman speaks to audiences all over, and he talks about his story. His goal is to inspire millions of people. Jason has spoken on Tedx. He has authored a book, and the name of his book is Awkwardly Awesome, Embracing My Imperfect Best. Jason has a podcast with the same name, and he is here today sharing his story, his experience, hoping to inspire you. And so I invite you to please come along with us on this journey for the next hour. Comment, leave us your questions, leave us your experience with this, and also I invite you to call the show and participate if you like. And so, ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Mr. Jason Freeman. Hi.
Hi, Dela. Thanks for having me.
It's awesome to have you. Thank you so much to share your Sunday with me, Jason.
I'm excited.
Awesome. So, Jason, before we start, I'm going to put up a banner so that everyone that comes on here will know what we're talking about. What is strong with you?
What's strong with you?
What's
Yeah.
wrong with you? I love that. And also, if you're watching this on Facebook, you can call the show on Messenger. If you are watching this on YouTube, you can use the WhatsApp number and join us also on WhatsApp. So, Jason, once again, thank you so much for being here. And I totally appreciate your story. My gosh, I watched your TEDx talk. you had the audience up on their feet with their fingers pointed up and then pointed at themselves, saying what?
Okay, do it with me. Raise your right hand, Dela.
No, with my
Raise your right pointer finger.
yes.
Point at your heart and say, I
I
am
am
amazing.
amazing.
I am 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 amazing.
Yay.
Feels good to say that.
Yeah, I'm coming to appreciate that more and more how the energy we vocalize creates feelings in the body, and if we're down and go that feels a certain way, but if we say that feels a different way. And
Yeah. The word we say to ourselves, that yeah, they definitely impact us. You're so right. So, you know that you are amazing, Jason. You know that today. Did you always know that? Tell us a little bit.
so a circumstance happened at my birth. Circumstances have happened to all of us, and there's different ways we can go from each circumstance. What happened at my birth was my umbilical cord became kinked like a garden hose, and I lost some oxygen. And as a result, I developed a speech impediment and some coordination issues. And my parents started me off right, Dela. I was the only child, and they're just like, Jason, you are the best. And as a little kid, I just went along with the energy being the best little Jason. Well, I wasn't quite that small, but the best little Jason I could be. But alone. And so I loved my circumstance. I loved my uniqueness. But in fourth grade, I changed schools. And for some reason, I started looking around and going, something is different here. And oh my gosh, it's me. And that difference is not good. So instead of asking at that point, instead of asking what's wrong with me, I started asking what's wrong with me. And that's a tough road to travel, because I mean, if we ask that question repeatedly, we can always find some sort of new answer, and it's just a dark path. And yeah.
Jason, it's so much easier to believe the stuff that's wrong with us, right? Because also, I think the people around us, they're not shy in showing, especially when you're a kid and you're in school, and kids can be cruel, and yeah, they don't shy away from telling you what's wrong with you, certainly. But I mean, we ourselves see what's wrong with us so much easier than what's strong with us.
Yeah, we see it much more easy. We see it much easier, but yet seeing what's wrong with us and focusing on that does not create an easy, joyful life for us. It might be easy to see, but what it creates is not at all
Hmm. Hmm.
fun.
So tell me about that. Tell me a little bit about that.
Um, can I tell you about the biggest bully I ever knew in junior high?
Oh, sure.
There was So fourth grade was the beginning of me concentrating on what's wrong with me, and by seventh grade, there was this kid who just fed into that day after day and picked on me, and each day he would identify 10 or 20 things that were just not right with me, and it was so miserable. It was so miserable, and I I began to feel worse and worse about myself.
I would.
And and um and I didn't have the self-awareness to understand that it was me doing who was this biggest bully.
Wow.
And I didn't know how to give that part of me something different to concentrate on. I was seventh grade. What are you, 12? And I just had no tools or very few tools to redirect my perspective. So I mean, my parents, of course, were supportive and telling me I was great. I was so lucky. I could have been bullied by the students around me, but except for like a few minor things, just more kids teasing me than bullying me. I wasn't bullied, but I just kept after myself, and then one day in the spring of my seventh grade year, I was at school, hopped on my bike unannounced and rode home, and my parents were at work, and I attempted to take my own life.
Wow. What was I mean, you were so young, and there are so many young people who struggle with that. Um, my goodness, Jason, what was going on through your young mind?
I just had no perspective other than I'm awful. I can't do it. I will never amount to anything. The world is better without me. I mean, just things that in retrospect were completely 100% false, but at the moment, I believed in them strongly. I was in a sense telling myself my own lies, my own fake news, and I believed all of it, hook, line, and sinker. But luckily, Dela, there was a voice within me that at the right moment said, "Hey, kiddo, this is not the way," and I called for help. And that was the beginning of of learning what's wrong with me. I think I've never formulated that into a sentence, but
Um, that's a big realization as at a young age. You basically came up with that conclusion on your own that you needed to live on. And so what was it that kept you going, Jason?
I mean, from then from then it's been like I mean, life is so complex. some of it was
You're not kidding. We're all sitting
some
here because life is so complex.
yeah, yeah, isn't it? I mean, like I mean, as a professional speaker, I wish I could just say, oh, I went from being suicidal to doing this one, two, three things, and voila, magically, I'm happy, have millions of dollars, and
But
and
there are
all
there
that.
are people who who say that. Oh, here, I can help you in 6 steps. Just follow these steps and you're going to be as successful as me. The truth is, just like you said, so much more than that. Jason, can we take a moment and say hello to our viewers?
Yeah, yeah. So
There's lots of comments. I just want to make sure we say hi to everybody. I've got, so if you're watching this show right now, thank you so much for spending your Sunday afternoon with us. And if you'd like us to name your name and say hello to you, please drop us a comment. Otherwise, we won't see you. So far, I have Sarah J saying hello. Deborah Sweezy, my good friend, my beautiful friend, who actually was the reason for this connection, Jason. So I appreciate you, my friend. Thank you so much.
thanks so much, Deborah.
She's awesome. My mom, I told you, Jason, before the show started, she's my number 1 fan. Farida, she's here too. And
Yay!
yeah, right. So is my good friend Hamid, my brother from another mother. So he's here. Oh, thank you, Jason. I just got a haircut, so all the viewers are, telling me I look not bad. Thank you.
It's a wonderful haircut.
Thank you. Thank you. Muhammad is here too. Thank you so much. And Muhammad says, um, why this is so that we focus on what is strong with me instead of what is strong. I think he meant so what's wrong with me instead of what's strong with me. What a perspective, right? To concentrate on what's strong with me. I think it's the one and the same. The thing we think is wrong with us is what's going to make us strong. Michael Koss is here and he says, very proud of you, Jason. He says, you inspire me in my journey of recovery, Jason.
Mm.
Michael is another one of those individuals, isn't he? Amazing story. David is also here and he says, I hosted a brain injury radio show about bullying. Yeah, it's a sad part of life, but it's a piece of our life. I think it's one of those puzzle pieces. Deborah says, thanks for joining us. To those I invited. Oh, you're so awesome. And she also says, hang on. There's lots of conversation here going on. Lots of people on here. Everybody's saying hello. Thank you very much. Thank you for being here. Okay, so now you're at a young age, you decide to take your own life, and somehow you talk yourself out of it. This is in your teens, you're in high school, and you still have a whole lifetime ahead of you. So what happens then? What do you do with your life? How do you get over this, Jason?
Part of it is simply getting back in the routine of life and reconnecting with life. When I got in trouble in seventh grade, I isolated so much, but then in 8th grade in high school, I I met a lot of people, developed a friendship network, and that led into college, and then I double majored and then held a position for 10 years, and during that time I got a master's degree. So really making connections and being supportive of other people as they were supportive of me.
So you studied you got a master's degree in fine arts in poetry.
Yeah, which is why I make the big bucks.
This is the reason
Yeah.
for you being a millionaire,
yeah,
right? So,
yeah, exactly.
you know what? Millionaire at heart. So you write poetry, Jason?
Millionaire hot, I like that.
Do you write poetry?
Yes, I'm getting back into it more. I spent years not really writing it much, but writing more like essays and in my book and stuff. But I'm getting back into poetry, and I often now pair a poem I wrote with a photo I've taken, and I like how I like putting both together.
At some point you realized that you wanted to speak. When was this?
Um. So to tell this, I need to back up slightly. So after I got my master's, which was on paper the biggest accomplishment of my life,
Of
but
course.
what?
Yes, of course. It's a big accomplishment.
Yes, of course, but I was back in my hometown working the same job I had for 10 years, which was a great position, but I didn't want to do it for the rest of my life. And I was just pacing around my apartment miserable one morning, going like, is this all there is to life? There has to be something more.
Ah, the question.
Yeah, the question. And then luckily I remembered that a conversation with my aunt and uncle that had happened 6 months before.
What was the conversation?
They said, Jason, you should try yoga. Yoga. And Dell, when someone gives you advice you think is really good, but you have absolutely no intention of doing anything with it.
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
So I was like, thanks, on Anne and Uncle Bill. That's really good advice. Yoga. Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I can't wait.
Yeah, but in the back of my mind, I'm like, I have cerebral palsy. I don't do yoga. Go into a yoga class and make a fool of myself? My voice is already awkward. Why would I go to a class and make a fool of myself? So I smiled and then forgot about it. But the 6 months later, when I'm pacing around my apartment so miserable, I'm like, what can I have? My life is already not going well. So
Yoga. What do I have to lose?
yeah. So it was January. I got on my winter coat, live in South Dakota, but my hat, my mittens, and I trudged down to the YMCA. And all I do now is I buy a $35 membership with the intention of doing yoga. I don't even do yoga that first day, but that tiny step all the things I've done in my life, that tiny step, what would it take? Maybe 45 minutes, then I'm back to my apartment, and $35. I mean, nothing, but that tiny step. I was going this way, and that tiny step started sending me on a different trajectory. And from there, I opened up to a different story, and then different opportunities came. I was doing yoga for a while.
Wait, I
Then,
want to know what happened that first yoga class.
mm,
You're
you
skipping the
know,
good parts.
you know, I mainly remember my teacher, my first yoga teacher, Sarah, that instead of taking me aside and saying, "Hey, Jason, thanks for coming. We appreciate your idea, but I think bingo would be more your speed." She didn't do that. Instead, she offered me assistance throughout the class to help me know what to do. And then after the class, she took me aside and she encouraged me to come back.
Ah, God bless
And the
her.
other students were encouraging.
Amazing.
Talk about the power of people, right? Like she's a yoga teacher. This is her job. I'm another student, but through her efforts, I came back, and the students, they're not getting paid. They can do anything they want, but they were encouraging. They were kind. Never underestimate everyone listening. I mean, even now, everyone listening, never underestimate the impact your next comment can make. Just you listening can makes a huge impact. I mean, we're all so powerful, but we often don't concentrate on the power, the what's strong. We often concentrate on the what's
What we're
wrong, or how we're weak, or how we don't have a voice, and we can miss the magnificence that we are.
Ah, so good. That bully you talked about, our, us being our biggest bully. I mean, the meanest bully in your own meanest,
Meanest,
the nastiest bully in your own
nastiest.
lives.
Yep, definitely.
That's it. That's us. Let's see. Stephen is here. Well, you haven't missed the live. Stephen, you're here now. Several have
Steven,
Yay!
yay!
Several have suggested yoga to me after 2 strokes and no use of left leg and arm. I just can't see it. What do you think?
So Stephen, what I would say about that is about finding the way fit of class. Like I would start with more. I mean, I would advise anyone listening who's just starting yoga to start with a more gentle class, and then go from there. But also, I mean that. But then also pay attention to the teacher. Do you feel comfortable with the teacher? I would say find a good fit. And also there's a possibility that there's yoga for people recovering from different different things like stroke in your community. So that's another possibility. But you definitely don't need a specific yoga class for people recovering from strokes. Just find yoga at the right speed with a teacher who's willing and has the capacity to support you.
Thank you. Also, my introduction to yoga was through YouTube. There's lots of right instruction on YouTube that's free for everybody. I think, Stephen, a pretty yoga instructor would help encourage you.
I would agree. Pretty yoga instructors help a lot.
Yes, yes. Um, Michael says, "Feel free to share my name, Michael Koss." Amazing, Michael Koss. Definitely. Well, I'm looking forward to having you on.
Hey, Michael.
And Colleen says, "The power of kind words, so heartwarming. Thank you for the reminder." Colleen is my butterfly sister. Thanks for being here, Colleen. And Stephen says, "Hard to get motivated when you are unable to visualize. I'm willing to try if I can find the right teacher."
This Stephen's point is so crucial. Hard to get motivated when unable to visualize.
What do you think of that?
Stephen, I would I think back on the story I just told you, like when I was pacing around my apartment so miserable, I couldn't visualize where I am now, that I would eventually go through yoga teacher training and become a teacher. Not that I've taught, and that I would become a speaker. All I could visualize was walking down to the YMCA and buying the $35 membership. So I just visualized a tiny bit ahead, and instead of trying to visualize a great distance ahead, which would have been impossible at the moment. So maybe a step is just looking on YouTube for 10 minutes and finding videos you resonate with, and then not even doing yoga that first day, but maybe that's your first step. Or looking on YouTube and looking for one local studio and just seeing how that feels, looking at the website.
One little
So just visualize your next step, and then once you complete that, pat yourself on the back and then visualize the next small step. So it's a great comment, Stephen. Thanks.
Okay, so Deborah says, "A body in motion stays in motion."
I love that, and that I love that, and that goes back to, I don't even remember what I was saying loudly. What was I saying earlier in the podcast that was louder?
So
I said something like joy, or maybe I was saying, "What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you?"
yes, you were saying that.
So there's like, I mean, let's just think about this phrase for a sec. I mean, we can give a little motion to the phrase, like, "Dela, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? You know what's wrong with you?" I can say, "Hey, Dela, what's wrong with you?" Which one feels better?
If definitely the shaking of arms. What's strong with you? Come on, what's strong with you?
What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you?
Yeah. But you got your other arm. What's strong with you?
What's wrong with you?
Don't hang up. Wait here. It's Deborah.
Ah,
Hi.
How are you?
Hey,
Oh, you guys, this show is incredible.
Jason,
Incredible.
can you hear Deborah?
yes,
Okay.
yes.
Girl,
I have a
thank you.
special message. You're welcome. I have a special message to Jason because I watched a replay of one of his lives from yesterday. I love you.
Ah, yeah. It's so fun. How often do we say like I love you to the people in our lives in passing, just kind of I love you, but what would it be like to greet the people you love by saying I love you?
I love that. I watched this. Jason, I tell you, buddy, you are a character. You have inspired me so much, and I'm so happy people I've invited are seeing that in you. There's a comment about this guy is incredible.
Can I give a shout out to Deborah?
Yeah, of course.
So
I love it.
Deborah, this is like our first official like live conversation because we've left voicemails on Facebook Messenger before, but we've never had a conversation. But still, you've had you have a huge energy that's so welcoming. I mean, without even having an official conversation, you got me on Dela's voice. I invited you on my show. I mean, you're amazing, Deborah. I mean, and you started connecting with my friends. Just your energy is so expansive, and I'm pleased to finally have a conversation for a minute or two.
Well, I appreciate it, and I knew that you and Della would hit it off. She is an amazing interviewer, and
She is.
yeah, she
Oh,
makes it.
stop it. Oh, stop it.
What do you
Oh,
do? You make
stop
it.
it.
We love you, Della.
Della.
You're like a glue that that connects people together, and this world is so much better because you're in it. Happy Sunday, darling.
Bye.
Bye. I need to ask you. We had Jason. You told me that at some point you had this awakening. Well, no, you said in your exact words, there were not just one awakening, but that was the first awakening. It was when you heard those different words. Could you tell us about that?
Oh, so from studying yoga, I had a teacher, Joe Johnson, who was doing leading laughter yoga with her husband, and so I started laughter yoga, and I became a laughter yoga instructor, and got invited to a conference and spoke, and that was my first big speaking opportunity, and the audience nourished me so much. And then I moved from South Dakota to San Diego to pursue my dream of being a professional speaker because I had it within me. Yay!
Of course, who wouldn't want to be a professional speaker if you have a speech impediment?
Yeah, I mean, of course, completely logical, completely logical.
Absolutely.
But have you ever experienced this of having a big dream and being excited about it, but at the same time being like, nah, this isn't going to happen. So there's this tension.
Let me think about that. Yep.
Okay. So, yeah, I think we all have. So anyway, there was this tension within me, and one night in San Diego, my good friend Ina Lucas is dropping me off at my apartment, and I'm probably lamenting. I wanted to be a speaker, but it's so tough, and suddenly Ina goes, Jason, your voice is a gift. And I'm like, what? The thing that I've spent so much energy hating, going, this is wrong with me, is what's wrong with me. Of course, I didn't have the what's wrong question till this week, but I'm like, what? But But luckily, when she said those words, I could start to internalize them. And now 10 years after that, this voice I'm talking to all of you with, I consider it a miracle. I consider one of the biggest gifts I've ever been given. Yeah, it took another person, and it took a lot of years of life experience. Often in life, I'm realizing that we don't get the answer we're looking for right away, but that doesn't mean to quit. That doesn't mean to go in another direction. It just means to keep going where we're going, keep listening, and sometimes the answer comes when we least expect it.
So you have this friend who tells you all of a sudden she's looking at this thing that you've looked at as the biggest adversity in your life, all of your life, and all of a sudden you realize, oh, maybe this is the best gift that I could ever have.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, with more things in my life, it's her words as they've gone on have added impact. Like, they had impact that night, but they have more impact even today, because I'm realizing more and more each day how my voice in this experience has been essential to creating who I am, and what I offer the world.
So what have you done since then, since you found out, since you started believing basically that this is your gift? What have you done?
Oh, that's a great question, because I'm a firm believer that belief in action are like this. Starting to believe is good, but when we combine it with action, we can really take off. So I've spoken to I lose count, but I think about 120 live audiences.
Oh my gosh.
Since then, I've and right now my current focus, I'm living back in South Dakota after being in San Diego 10 years, and I realized that all the small towns around me, they have schools, and they have junior high and high school students like I once was, and I want to talk to them, and maybe inspire them to to expand that perspective as they inspire me to expand my perspective. So it won't be only me standing up there like, I'm 46, I know all the answers, kiddos. It'll be a give and take because they have wisdom and experience that I don't have yet, so I can learn from them too, and it'll be a win-win.
Jason, when you decided to go to for TEDx, what was going on through your head? I mean, I've not met one speaker who doesn't have that as their dream to talk on a TEDx stage. It's pretty amazing, I would say. Definitely is on my bucket list to be on a TEDx stage. How did you do that? How did you get the courage to do that?
Um, so I got the opportunity, and then I was lucky enough to get to practice with this brilliant coach, Harmony Sedona, who now calls herself the writer whisperer. Is that clear? Do you get what I said? The writer.
Yes.
The writer whisperer.
Yes.
But anyway, she would get on me with me week after week, and we would brainstorm, and I would run my script over and over again, and eventually I got good at it, and practicing, folks, is one way to get the butterflies to from being all over the place to flying in formation. Yes, I couldn't have done a successful TED Talk until I practiced. If I had gotten on that stage without practicing at all, it would have been miserable. I would have been all over the place, and the audience would have been like, what's happening now? I can relate
You
to
rocked
this.
that stage, Jason. You rocked that stage. You were so confident. You were so funny, and you were so engaging. I mean, you got the audience on their feet, and they
And thank you, and that's a result of practicing. It's a result of an accumulation of effort. It's not just about getting the opportunity. It's about getting the opportunity and then honoring it by practicing. Does that make sense?
yeah, it does. It does. Of course, the opportunity comes to you if you don't take it seriously. You don't take actions. You don't practice. You're not. Your heart and soul is not in it. Then the opportunity is just an opportunity. I mean, what good does that make? I just wanted to so your dream, Jason, is to speak to millions of people.
Yeah.
What do you want to tell them?
Oh my gosh. I want to tell them about my the central idea I want to tell them about is the power of doing our imperfect best. That it's really good to go for our best in life, like dream big, envision it. And as we go for it, as we practice it, as we take action, we will make mistakes. Some complications will come up, but instead of using those mistakes and complications to quit and go off screen, we can use those mistakes and complications as fuel to learn from, to become stronger, and to move forward towards the best we envision.
There's a comment here. Tell us to look forwards, not backwards. That's what David's saying.
Look, David and everyone, look forward, not backwards. I mean, obviously, we use things we've learned from our past all the time to inform what we're doing now and inform our future, but there's no going back until time machines are invented.
Uh-huh.
It's just not in the cards.
There's no point. Yes, there's no point. But
No point.
you said your imperfect best, and for so many of us, so many people that I know, that the idea of best, it equals perfection.
Mm.
And so you're saying being imperfect is equal to best. And it's such a great way of looking at this, because forever we're hearing, um, do your best, and it doesn't have to be perfect. But we're not okay with it, are we? Most of us are not okay with that.
No, and I'm still learning the lessons of imperfect best every day. But maybe it helps to look at best as more of a process. Achieving our best is a process, and it's never going to be perfect, because our minds can always think of something a little more perfect than what we're presently doing. But it's a process we can engage in every day.
You know, the amazing thing is that we stop ourselves so many times and so often in life
Oh
because we
yeah.
are we are looking to be perfect at it. And so
Yeah.
I think I've shared this with you. If I hadn't called on my own bullshit, I would have never started this show, because I was always looking for being perfect. It's not the perfect time. I don't have the perfect accent. I don't have the perfect vocabulary. I don't have the perfect setup. I don't have the perfect microphone and, and the speaker and the platform and the guest and the this and the that, right?
And then this and then that. Yeah.
Yes. And so we would never start anything if we're looking to be perfect. And the fact that you are encouraging everyone to be their own imperfect best, I think that's a fantastic message, Jason.
Mm-hmm. And getting out of our own needing to be perfect isn't just about our individual lives. Dela, because you got over that need to have the perfect show, has allowed me to be a guest on your show this morning. So thank you for getting over your need for things to be exactly perfect
Ah,
before you move forward.
ah,
Thank you so much, because I wouldn't be on the show today.
Thank you. And you know, the best part of starting something when you know you're imperfect and but you're doing your best anyways, is that you are really being you, and it takes courage because it's vulnerable, and I really feel like that's the only way we can connect to one another is by really truly being ourselves and by truly being the
Mm.
imperfect best that we can be,
Mhm.
uh, because that's the only way that human beings can connect to one another, um,
Mm.
right? Th- that's what makes it real.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
I so appreciate your message, Jason. I have no doubt that you are going to touch millions of lives with your amazing story and your inspiring,
Mm.
the inspiring way in which you tell it, and your energy and your just your joy for life. This is
Mm.
so inspiring. And I have no doubt that we're going to be hearing from you a lot more. And so I want to thank you. But just a little bit about your book and tell people where they can get it.
Okay. Thanks, Dela. My book is awkwardly awesome, embracing my imperfect best. And the easiest place to get it is either on Amazon, or if you go to my website, jasonwfreeman.com, there may be a free downloadable copy too. Just maybe.
Or just maybe, but maybe just buy his book.
Yeah, it's fun having the paper copy.
Yeah, have a physical copy of the book. Beautiful. Well, my friend, I'm going to give you a couple of more minutes to leave us with whatever you like.
We raise the right hand, we raise the right pointer finger and point at our hearts and say, I am the best.
The best.
I am 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 the best, damn it.
Then we give ourselves a round of applause. Yay!
Woo!
Hey! Awesome.
Amazing. You're awesome, Jason. Thank you so much for being here today. Everybody, for you who have been with us for the past hour, who is going to listen to this podcast later, who is going to watch this show later, make sure you repeat those words to yourself. I am the best. I am amazing. Because you are. You are. Look at what's strong with you and ask yourself that question more often. Thank you.
Thanks so much for having me on, Dela. You're a brilliant host.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate it.
And I appreciate you. As always, this has been Dela's voice, sparking your soul. Take care, everybody. Dela's Voice has been made possible by the generosity of sponsors like you.